This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
So,
But
Peacock's fucking us.
okay, so tell me how Peacock's fucking us.
Last weekend, we were supposed to be treated on the 4th of July weekend. We were supposed to be treated with a Lex Luger focused documentary.
Yeah.
They have like an icons program.
Yeah.
And they were going to tell his whole story with
Right.
lots of behind the scenes footage and never before seen photographs and updated
Mhm.
interviews and whatnot. And they promoted it like the devil. They even had Lex Luger all over social media every week or every day leading up to that, that air date. And he's quote tweeting it and talking about it and promoting it like crazy. And I got to admit, I was getting fired up about it. We had just recently done a profile on him for Grilling JR. And I'm like, man, this will be great. Because I think he is misunderstood. I think a lot of fans treat him unfairly for things that, you know, were really other people's decisions. Anyway, it didn't air. They announced the morning of it won't be airing.
What?
And I'm like, wait a minute, what? And so then I started thinking, you remember Vlad, the super fan who was at all the WWF shows in the Northeast? Well, they did a whole documentary on him. And it was the very talented Giancarlo, who used to do a lot of really fun promos for Game Changer Wrestling and Joey Janela. You probably saw some of the stuff. It was really creative. And then he went to work for the WWE and he did stuff like the whole Tom McGee lost tape 2.5 years ago or whatever that was. And so I'm thinking, man, this will be badass. And I think Jeff Jarrett was interviewed for it and the whole Vlad thing. It never aired. So I thought, wait a minute, what happened with that? Well, now for the last 10 days or so, they've been promoting that on July 11th, just a couple of days after Kevin Nash's birthday, just a couple of days after the NWO became a thing and Hulk Hogan turned heel, they're going to air his sit-down interview with Stone Cold Steve Austin as part of the Broken Skull sessions. And as you know, Kevin Nash is a witty, charming, funny. I mean, he's one of the boys with a capital B. And I thought, man, him just drinking and cutting up and talking to Austin, that's going to be good stuff. Raining at my house today. So I'm thinking I can't go downstairs and do any more DNA tests on the turds. I can't go outside and swim. It's raining. I guess I could, but I'm not a fucking goof. So I guess I'll do this show with you. I'll yell at my wife to make breakfast. I'm kidding. She's already doing that. And then I'll watch that. It's not airing today. The WWE has decided they're not going to air documentaries for some reason. And they're not saying they're canceling them. They're just postponing them. But the reality based stuff, I'm not sure what's going on. And yes, I could text Bruce, but you know what? I'm not gonna. That's not what guys like me and you do. Never do I text you and say, hey man, is Andrade debuting tonight? I don't ask that. I'm not doing that.
Sure.
So I'm not going to text and ask that, but I am going to sit here on social media and on our show and stomp my foot and say, what the fuck, WWE? Give me my Kevin Nash thing. Give me my Vlad the Superfan thing. Give me my fucking Lex Luger thing.
Right.
Now here's the thing. I wouldn't have been upset if you hadn't have promoted it.
Right.
You ran these commercials. You put the tweets out. You gave me a date. You gave me a time. And then I go there and it's not fucking there. It's disappointing.
It's bad for business, buddy.
You've mismanaged my expectations. It's almost like you tell me there's nothing better than being at WWE Dynamite. And then I looked it up. I can't even buy tickets to WWE Dynamite, Tony.
Yeah, I know you can't.
I can't buy tickets.
I know, because cocksuckers can't buy tickets. So, but here's the deal. Oh man, come back with some heat going on. Here's the deal. It's like back in this era that we're watching right now when Jim Crockett promoted so-and-so in your main event and he wouldn't show up. And that's what you came for. And you didn't get what was advertised. That's the worst thing you can do, Conrad, in wrestling. You don't give them what's advertised. Now, the match itself, or in this case, the documentary, you sit down and you watch it and maybe you were disappointed in it or you were disappointed in the match. It didn't live up to your expectations. That happens. But that's not as bad as sitting down to watch it and say, oh, by the way, it ain't here. That's the worst thing you can do in wrestling. The worst. So there you go. Bad business. And you know what? They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. I knew that from the get-go. Once they got on the Peacock, I knew they didn't give a fuck.
Because they doubled their money?
Yes. And that's all it was about. That's all it was about. Yeah, that's discouraging to hear that. Maybe they'll have it soon. No word about when it's going to come. Oh, by the way, we're going to delay it a month, or there's some problems with production, or the producer who's doing it didn't do what we want. I don't know. They just said we're not going to air it, right? That's it.
I don't know. It's just not airing. I wish I had more answers, but you know, it's not managing expectations.
No, it's terrible. But anyway, they got to live with that stuff, but they can, because there's so much money coming in that it doesn't matter what you do. Money's just flying in because you now have become bigger than the product yourself.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at savewithconrad.com.